Okay, thank you. So the third rezoning application went before the Bristol Regional Planning Commission as it's in their urban growth boundary. And it is for Mr. Mark Trivet. He owns property at 2382 Carolina Avenue, which is a corner lot also on Bristol Caverns Highway. And his request is to rezone the property from R1 to B3. In your packet, you'll have the base tax map, the aerial, the zoning, and then if you keep turning, you get to the city staff planners report. Some of it would be our maps reinserted or their zoning. So a lot of the mapping is redundant, but I included their entire staff report. This request is again on the corner of Bristol Caverns Highway and Carolina Avenue. So it's not up on the screen yet, but if you'll look in your zoning packet. I do want to point out that Bristol Caverns Highway is a state highway and the right-of-way is very large. And so this request was, what started this was another violation complaint to our office, and we wrote the landowner. He was storing heavy equipment on the property. There is also a house on Carolina Avenue, which is the same piece of property. And then there's a big wooded ravine. And then what looks like a different piece of property, but it's all the same parcel where he had the storage of heavy equipment. Now he has since moved that off and has come into compliance, but he would like to be able to use it for a storage yard for the heavy equipment. So again, I hope you've had a chance to read the staff report from the Bristol planner. They recommended against it. Their planning commission recommended against it because it is primarily residential area. They considered it a spot zoning. There is an old commercial, another spot zone on Carolina Avenue, and we did check it out. It's a mix of a contractor and homeowner that was, I think, spot zone to begin with. But everything else is zoned residential in this community or agricultural. I know the staff report is lengthy. We did include the violation sheet, the business district purposes, and then their summary. Again, the Bristol Planning Commission staff and Planning Commission voted unanimously against this request.
You heard the information, Commissioner Morrell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This too is in my area, and as Amber has mentioned, this is sort of an odd piece of property. It actually fronts on Carolina Avenue and Bristol Caverns, or State Route, excuse me, whatever that is. And if you look at the map, there's one of them you can look at. You can actually see where the mobile home and the porch is on the front of it. That the yard and everything where Mr. Trivet has been, it was initially parking his stuff and storing wood or something like that there. It's actually all on TDOT right away. And he was here, and I don't see him now. And I believe he left, but I had mentioned to him if he knew where the TDOT right away when he was here. But anyway, the property right behind the trailer actually falls off down kind of a ravine, and then there's a small house on Carolina Avenue, and it goes right down into the backyard. I was kind of wondering why at first why they would ask B3 for the whole piece of property. I don't know why he's not here now, but at any rate, unless there's some people's got some more questions or something like that. And I support, he's got a little small business, and I support the mom and pops. You know, they need all the help they can get. But I believe in a B3, Amber, wouldn't the owner have to put up fencing on the property?
Right, for the storage of heavy equipment, you would have to buffer to the adjacent residential land uses, plus screen in and fence in the heavy equipment storage.
He would have to fence up the TDOT, I mean.
Yeah, he couldn't use state right of way.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
he would have to fence where
Right,
his boundary line meets the TDOT,
right,
right on the front.
right. And the equipment was actually in the
Yeah.
state right of way.
It just don't look like that he would have very much room at all to do what he's wanting to do there. And I think that B3 that you was talking about across the street on Carolina Avenue, that was probably grandfathered in.
Right.
I mean, that's been there forever.
Right.
And everything. But anyway, I just want to make those comments. Maybe somebody else has some or something like that.
Any other comments or questions for Amber before I ask for public comment? Seeing none, thank you, Amber. Is there anybody in the audience that has signed up that would like to comment on this application for rezoning? If you identify yourself, we will recognize you. The next person on the list is Mike Harmons, but I assume you're here for another reason. So, okay, if there's nobody that wants to speak on this, we'll let you wrap up, Amber, and we'll vote.
Okay.
Okay, ready to vote? Okay, this comes through in a positive manner that yes is a vote to rezone as requested, no is a vote to not rezone. Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Akerd? No. Blaylock? Calton? Calton absent. Poe?
Yes.
Crawford? Cross? Crosswhite? Gardner?
Yeah.
George? Glover? Parker Road?
Yes.
Aaron? Hutton?
No.
Jones?
Right, it's a vote against the application to rezone.
King? No. Leonard?
Yes.
Locke?
No.
Morrell?
No.
Stanley? No. Starnes? No. Stidham?
No.
Vance?
No.
Woods?
No.
Would anyone like to change their vote?
Madam Clerk, based on Mr. Jones's question, I wish to change my vote.
Gardner. Seven yes, 16 no, 1 absent.
Having failed to receive a majority, the application is rejected. Recognized on application number 4.
Okay, thank you. Your last rezoning request, sorry, it's all one packet. If you'll keep turning to Mr. Darrell Shoemaker's rezoning request, that went before the Kingsport Planning Commission. And in your packet, of course, up on the screen also is the tax map and their staff report, the aerial image, and the zoning map. So this area is in Kingsport's urban growth boundary, and Mr. Shoemaker would like to rezone the property from R1 to R2 in order to subdivide it into smaller lots, so that he can build individual homes on each lot. He's built one home on the triangular piece already, and the R2 zoning district, you're allowed smaller lot sizes if public sewer is available. And public sewer is available right on the lowland area on the rear property line. So it goes right through his property. So because of the utilities that would support this land use rezoning request, the Planning Commission and the staff of Kingsport unanimously are forwarding a favorable recommendation to you from R1 to R2. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar. I didn't write the staff report. I'm hoping you all have read it. I can go over it, but it's pretty straightforward.
You've heard the explanation. Any further questions for Ms. Corbett from the commission?
Am I recognized? Thank you. This probably is it's right on the lines, I think, between our areas. And in this area, this size lot is a normal size lot. We do have sewer there. We definitely need new houses. And so I am going to be in favor of this. I think it's a good use of the land.
Further questions or comments? Now let me ask the audience if there's anyone in the audience who would like to speak on this particular application number 4. Darrell Shoemaker. Seeing none, I believe you're ready to vote. Moving right along. Complete in a positive manner. The yes vote is to approve the application. No vote is to reject it. Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Akerd?
Yes.
Blaylock?
Yes.
Broughton?
Yes.
Calton? Calton absent. Cole?
Yes.
Crawford?
Yes.
Cross?
Yes.
Crosswhite? Gardner? George? Glover?
Yes.
Park Road?
Yes.
Heron? Hutton?
Yes.
Jones? King? Leonard?
Yes.
Locke?
Yes.
Morrell? Starnes? Stidham? Vance? Woods?
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? How would you like to vote? Would you vote yes? That's what I have you as a yes. 23 yes, 1 absent.
Having seen that, sir, majority application number 4 is approved by the Sullivan County Commission.
Thank you.
I believe, Ms. Chairman, I believe that completes
Muted.
your agenda.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your help guiding the commission. Okay. The next item on our agenda is public comment. Our agenda has been changed a little bit this week. We have public comment, and I'm going to go back to my list and call on those people who have not spoke on a zoning issue. And first on the list is Mr. Bill Kilgore, former commissioner. Bill Kilgore.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I am here tonight. My name is Bill Kilgore. I live in Kingsport, Malabar Drive. I'm here as the chairman of the Sullivan County Republican Party, and I'm here to present a award to a very esteemed member of this organization here. And I'm going to do the talk here, and I've got it in a brown paper bag, but it's not something to drink. The Sullivan County Republican Party since 2007 has given an award to someone in the county who has worked with the Republican Party for years and attained a lot of good things that's been done. And it's called the Morning in America Award. It's been awarded each year since 2007, recognizing someone who in the county who embodies the optimistic spirit of Ronald Reagan, that our best days are ahead of us. By working together, there's nothing we cannot accomplish. The award consists of a jar of jelly beans, similar to the one that Ronald Reagan kept on his desk and offered to his cabinet members whenever they were having meetings. This awardee has accomplished many of those accomplishments, and the awardee has been active in the Republican Party elections and leadership for many years. I would like at this time to ask Richard Venable, Mayor, to come and join me, and I will continue through this presentation. He has served the party for many years. Back in 1980, he was a member of the Sullivan County Executive Committee from 1980 to 1990. He was chairman of the Sullivan County Commission. So here I am, I'm back to the commission. He was chairman of the Sullivan County Republican Party from 1986 to 1990. He worked on many Lincoln Day dinners during that time from 86 to 90. And he was in the Tennessee State Legislation for District 3 from 1990 to 1996. Was second Republican elected from Sullivan County. At the time before 90, there was only one Republican that sat in the House from Sullivan County and no senators. So he was one of the people who broke the ground. He was a candidate for Congress twice in 1996 and 2006. Mayor of Sullivan County from 2002 to 2006 to 2014 to 2020. A driving force in local, state, and GOP elections. It's my honor and pleasure to present this award to Mayor Richard Venable.
When I found out about this at the Republican Reagan Day dinner, of course I couldn't be there, but I wasn't here either. But when Bill asked to come here to present this award to me, I was reluctant to do that because this is not a political body when we convene. And so when I thought about what I would say, I thought I would extol the virtues of the two-party system. Because we had two-party system way back in the 1980s in the state of Tennessee. Lamar Alexander broke that opposition party rule in 1978. But and I'm not going to give my little speech on the two-party system. We're going to get back to business here quick, but I'll just say it's important. Republican principles that I try to live by and that I've run by are important to me. But I certainly recognize that everybody in the world doesn't agree with me and that there are opposition views. And only through real debate and real respect that's shown to people show to each other will we ever arrive at the proper solution for the people of our country. So, no, we don't want to steamroll our opposition. We want them there to make us better. So, Bill, thank you. This means a lot.
Thank you all for allowing me to come and do that.
Thank you. I'll have to check my A1C before I start on this. Okay. Next person on the list is Mike Harmon. Mr. Harmon, you still here? Thank you. Thank you for staying with us. And of course, if you'll give us your name and address, Mike, for the record, and we've asked our public partners to limit remarks to 3 minutes. We've been fairly liberal on that, so if you're making a point, I won't interrupt you, but I'll give you one.
Shouldn't take long.
Okay, Mike, you're recognized.
Mike Harmon, 285 Rich Hill Road, Bristol, Tennessee. I'm here on behalf of Disabled American Veterans, Chapter 39. I'm that chapter's commander. I want to thank the county and the charitable amount given to the chapter last year. This money has allowed us to better serve the veteran community here in Sullivan County and beyond. It has kept their 8 service officers busy with the tools necessary to file hundreds of VA disability claims and others. A transportation program taking veterans and their families to and from doctor's visits. With the COVID-19 going on, a craft kit program to keep everybody busy, going stir crazy at home for the most part during all this. A food pantry, which we held tonight, that typically feeds approximately about 300 members of the community, whether veteran or family or what. And then it's also open to veterans, their families and spouses at any time when the need arises. And not to mention all the many veterans assisted with home repairs, utility bills, and so forth. I would like to ask the county to support us again this year. I understand that some commissioners want to rescind the funding, so I'll just leave you with this. While in Baghdad in 2004, 2005, I operated a protective services detail for a 1-star general, the 1st Cavalry Division. In a very active combat zone, the general made it out to all these outlying units in the midst of everything going on to personally see what their needs are, what the requests were to fill those, to make decisions on those. Only a small handful of commissioners here has been out to the chapter or asked or talked or seen what we do out through there. But I would like to have you come out and give us a look, question us a little bit, come out and see what we do, all the good we do, how we're doing, and take a look at the operating funds and everything like that to see where all the county's money is going to. If there's any questions about that, I would like to leave for anybody in the county. Look, this is their last year's financials. Every penny that we spent for everything is right here. There's no names really listed on through there as far as people we help for privacy, but it's listed as veteran assistance. And that's typically all I got. I just would like to ask your support again for this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harmon. Thank you for coming. You came in at 3:01. Next, Jason Copenhaver. Jason Copenhaver. Is he still with us? Not here. Thank you. Thank you. James Copenhaver, they left too. Okay. Samantha Copenhaver. Sonia Stanley. Ms. Stanley here. We've gone a little late tonight, so maybe they'll come back and join us in the future. Danny Cook. Ms. Cook, if you'll give us your name, address, and for our electronic record.
Yes, I would ask if it's okay, Mayor Venable, that I not speak my street address. I wrote it down on the paper for you, just for safety reasons. I don't give out my personal address in public forums, if that's okay.
That's a problem because I think the law requires us to do that, Mr. Dutton. Okay, let's go.
Okay, thank you. So in July of this year, 2020, one of your county commissioners, Mark Vance, made a post on Facebook. That Facebook post stated, and I quote, "Making any comment about this socialist agenda will create tension and controversy. But when they want to remove statues, pictures of Jesus, and claiming white supremacy is wrong, let the war begin, exclamation point, exclamation point." Now, you would ask yourselves, why have I waited for almost 4 hours to address this county commission? Why would I have my grandchildren here? Look around this room. We are the only people of color in this room. The majority of this county and this entire region is 95 to 97% white, and I get it. I do not expect for everyone here to understand the racial issues that are happening all across this country, but you do have minority population here, and they do matter. They are your constituents. If I go back to May of 2018, the same county commissioner had a post that appeared on Facebook, which he says he did not write, but I don't know, he took ownership of it the next day. And I quote, "With federal shutdown today, remove Secret Service detail to the members of the Senate and House members, no pay, no work. Let them pay for their own protection. As for the so-called million women march in Washington on the anniversary of President Trump, I am blessed I married an intelligent wife instead of these dumbass women. They deserve no security either. As a taxpayer, I am tired of paying for stupidity." As a taxpayer, as a citizen, as an American citizen, I am tired of seeing elected officials make degrading, derogatory, sexist, racially inflammatory remarks with absolutely no regard and no accountability. I've asked this county commission for your ethics policy. It hasn't been provided to me. I don't know if you have one. If you don't, today would be a good day to pass a resolution to make one. Because I will tell you, what was later claimed about all of these posts was that I have to stand behind my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Well, I'll tell you what the Bible says. Luke 6:45 says, hold on, baby. A good man brings good things out of the good stored up in his heart, and an evil man brings evil things out of the evil stored up in his heart. For the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. What I hear, okay, baby, are derogatory comments about women who exercise their First Amendment rights. Yes, thank you. Are derogatory comments about women who exercise their First Amendment rights as if they can't be intelligent for doing so. It's demeaning. What does it set the examples for these babies, for these children in this lifetime? That's a prime example. I have sat in front of the peaceful governor and alderman and now the county commission and been completely discriminated against every single time. You all need to take action. Thank you, honey. I'm sorry, Colette. Thank you. I have to apologize to you because I thought you were walking out on me again, and I know we've had to.
Let you go ahead and continue your remarks.
I will. Oh. You will have an opportunity as a county commission. You're one of the largest counties in the state of Tennessee to set a precedent, to actually address what one of your colleagues says on social media, to not sit back and just say, oh, well, you know, people say things like that and it happens and he's still a good old boy. We have to not bypass comments as if they're ignorance, because quite frankly, I would be tired of paying for stupidity if you don't know punctuation. And the biggest part of this, let me just say this, even if it was a mistype, let me tell you why I don't buy that excuse, is because when it happened, there were people that commented on that post and they specifically said, hey, are you saying that white supremacy is okay? Because that's what it looks like. Commissioner Stanley even commented because you asked her to comment. And she said the same thing. And that post remained on social media. For another 12 hours, it remained up. Which means if you were okay letting people believe that you supported white supremacy, that is wrong.
Ma'am, you have the right to express your opinion. I will not allow you to attack the commissioner. Continue.
Okay, so.
And you have 4 minutes and 12 seconds.
Got it. So what I would ask of this county commission, well, first what I would ask of County Commissioner Vance is to resign. And then the second thing, well, The second thing that I would ask is for this county commission to make a motion to put together a standard of ethics for the behavior of the people that sit on this county so that there can actually be accountability for what people do and say. Because you do represent the citizens, and you're supposed to represent all of them. And if you say to me, well, don't you support killing babies and support the Muslims? How can you represent all people if you put up religiously discriminating comments, derogatory comments towards women, towards people of color, to tell me that I need to watch a video to tell of another Black woman how she thinks she ought to be considered? It's wrong. And if you want this region to grow at all, if you want other businesses to come in here and invest their money, you have to let them know that this is not a region that thinks these comments are okay, because that's what they believe.
I need you to wrap up.
I will. Could you ask the gallery to quit making comments as well, sir?
Sorry?
The gallery is back here making comments at me.
The gallery made comments at you?
Yes, sir. Several times now.
Well, you're here to express your opinion. I'm not here to protect you.
I didn't ask you to protect me.
Well, what point are you making? What point are you making? What point are you making?
I was asking, I made the point to the county commission. What I was asking you was if you were going to maintain order and the rules. I would imagine, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm several feet away from you and I can't hear comments that are made to you. I've given you 6 minutes, so if you want to make a final statement, go ahead.
My final statement is that the Sullivan County Commission needs to demonstrate who and what it's about, and either it does or doesn't support discrimination towards and sexism, racism, and derogatory comments, or it does, and your actions say that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I think that's ill advised. Since you were pointed out, Commissioner, I'm going to allow that. But please keep it respectful, Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, fellow commissioners, and to the audience. First of all, I feel like I need to respond to this. And first thing I want to say, the comment that I made about the Women's March, at that time, what was going on in our life, my son that serves in the Navy, the federal government was shut down, and he hadn't received a paycheck for several months. And I watch a lot of news, and I'm thinking, watching the news and the things going on in the nation, it irritates me that we have men and women who are serving our country not being paid, while we have people walk up and down in Washington with small children the size of Miss Cook's grandchildren, holding signs with vulgar words. And it did agitate me, because that's not what I think America's about. I mean, indoctrinating our children to take those type of steps and stand in public with F you this and F you that. My wife, I'm very proud of my wife, and I'm very proud of my family, and I'm very proud of my 5 grandkids, my 5 kids that I have. And you can ask my daughter what I would do if she was standing on State Street and she was protesting, and if she was protesting for the right thing, I would be there with her. But if she acted ill, writing anger towards other people, or she was acting unprofessional and unrespectful, then I would call her a dumbass girl, and I don't raise dumbass girls. So if I offended Miss Cook, I want to apologize for her about that. I'm old-fashioned. I come from an old schooling that my parents raised me to be the person I am, and I'm not a fake person. I am who I am. Let me tell you, I'm scared about our country, and it's not about me. I'm 60 years old. But I do know that my 5 grandkids and the 5 kids I've got that I am really worried about the country we're leading into. You know, I watch a lot of news. That's another one of my mistakes. But I want to know where our country's going to. I want to know what kind of country we're leaving our kids to. And I want to know what kind of county we're leaving our kids to. So when a gentleman on Fox News stood up, Sean King, and said that you need to tear down all the statues, and then you need to do all this stuff, and we don't get our way, we're going to burn down buildings. My wife's from Baltimore, Maryland, and when her mother died, they were burning the town down in Baltimore, Maryland, and people that we know was getting their businesses burnt down up there. People that worked all their life. There's just a lot of anger in this country. And I don't think we should ever promote that type of writing and that type of behavior. Okay, and I want to tell you about the war that began. When Sean King said that we needed to take down the statues of Jesus, I sat there and I got mad. I try to live a Christian life. I'm still a sinner, and I'm trying to learn every single day. But I love my Jesus Christ. And I go back to looking at where my mother-in-law was buried in the funeral homes and the cemeteries up in Baltimore, Maryland. There's 16, 17-foot marble statues of Jesus Christ. And what they did, they took the writing from the Black Lives Matter movement, and they were moving it into religious war. Ladies and gentlemen, if you go back and look at history, our country was founded on freedom of speech, freedom of religion. I don't care what your religion is, but just a freedom you have rights to worship whatever God or whatever you want to worship.
Mark, I want to hold you to the same public comment time, so you've got 2 minutes.
Okay. So it bothers me that they would start creating a religious war in this country. And I'm really sorry. And when people say that I'm a white supremacist, people don't know this about me. I've got 2 beautiful biracial grandkids in Hampton, Virginia, that my son and my daughter-in-law that's in the Navy up there. So what I've been doing personally for myself, and Ms. Cook, I want you to listen to what I'm saying. I've been actually exploring about racism. I want to know, because one of these days my grandson's going to be here walking on the streets with his papa. And believe me, you say something bad about my grandson or granddaughter, you're going to have a butt whooping, okay? Because I love my grandkids. And it bothers me to sit and say I'm a white supremacist, because I'm not. So, but let me say this. Racism is out here. And it is. I have talked to pastors. I've talked to police officers. I've talked to a lot of black people that me as a white person never see. And it's out there, guys. And we do have to change as a nation. We have to change ourselves, the way we look at other people. So you can't call me racial. You can't call me a white supremacist. I am an activist because I believe in God and I believe in our country, and I'm worried. So, Ms. Cook, if it makes you feel better, me and you see a lot alike on a lot of things. And if I offended you, I will personally stand here and apologize to you, because that's the type of person I am. But I will always believe in the principle and the moralities that my parents raised me. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mark. Is there anybody else in the audience that would like to address this commission about your opinion on anything that should come before the commission? If not, we will move on to our agenda. And sir, I'm going to ask you to.
I'll keep it at 3 minutes, Mayor, like you want me to do.
Okay. You're on.
You guys know my dad. He's been in this commission. I think he's one of the longest tenured commissioners here. He's not perfect. There's a lot of people in here that may like him, and there's a lot of people that may not like him.
Give us your name, too. I'm sorry. I know you did before, but
sorry, Mayor. My name is Miles Vance. Like I was saying, many of you commissioners may like him, may have not. But I will go ahead and put this on the record to you commissioners. My dad is not a white supremacist. My dad is not racist. My dad is a man of honor. My dad is a straightforward person. I think any commissioner's been here, honor. Anybody that's been here long term knows that when my dad says something, he means it. He raised me the same way. And when he's sitting here, Danny, when he's sitting here in public and when he's publicly Hey, guys.
Wait, now, we're not going to have.
Okay, but
you're addressing the Sullivan County Commission, you address the commission.
Okay, you're right, Mayor, I apologize. But what I'm saying is when he's up here saying sorry for the things that he said and done, he means it, Mayor. And guys, anytime that you've ever had issues with Mark, you address it. He is always honest with you. I apologize that this has been brought to the commission tonight. I apologize that this has been an issue for you guys, but I want to let you guys know that my dad has the utmost respect for every one of you all. And just to let's set the record straight that, you know, I'm 30 years old and my father has never in my 30 years ever said anything racist to me, ever done anything like that. And I can say that on my honor. But I have nothing else to say, Your Mayor, and I hope I got another 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Come on up. Give us your name and address. You're addressing the commission.
My name is Rick Hicks, and I live in Bluff City. Lived here in Sullivan County for 65 years. Been involved in politics a lot over 65 years. In fact, my dad was chairman of the Democratic Party for Sullivan County for a lot of years, but I wouldn't tell anybody that. But I've never been here, so this is eye-opening to me. A lot of the stuff that was going on here tonight is kind of interesting, in fact. And I respect everyone in here. I know several of you people personally. But this is what the young lady said. She has a right to say whatever she wants to, but this is no place for it. If there's a problem with one of the county commissioners, they have areas, regions that they represent. It's up to that region to take that in hand and to vote them out if they see it fit to vote them out. But this is no place for something like this because the Constitution allows people their right, First Amendment. And I just want to tell you that I'm real pleased with what I've seen here tonight. I probably will start coming a little bit more because I'm about to retire and I've got not much to do. So I do love politics. I do listen to a lot of things, and I do support a lot of different people. But I just want to tell you that I'm proud of everybody in here, and I'm really proud of Mark Vance and some of these other guys that I know too, that I personally know that do a great job. And I thank each and every one of you. Thank you.
Anybody else want to speak? I'm sorry, it turns on, Sam, can't hear.
Is it on? It's
on.
I just wanted to give that report on the park that I had for you to, we talked about it.
Report on the park, yes,
Yeah.
I think that might be a proper time for it.
Okay. I had a conversation this afternoon. If you remember back a few months ago, we voted on a sewer.
I
was trying to get my notes. We had a vote for Warriors Path Park for a sewer line that we're putting in conjunction with the state and the city. I had a conversation with Sarah Leedy, who's the Warriors Path Park manager today. The first bids that came in on that park project were way over. And they're currently being rebid. Those will be opened on September 14th. There's no question about the money because this was a 2016 appropriation, and we're looking at a $5.4 million project at Warriors. They did have to go back and redo the project. There's not going to be anything done on Duck Island. The Rangers are going to keep their office out at the entrance gate. But the campground expansion, if y'all remember, they only had tent camping on that one campground. That's going to be the first project. The second part of this is they are going to totally rebuild the marina, the building, and expand the boat slips. And those will be built out in a wider part of the lake and floated in as one big unit, and the other one will be taken out and dismantled. I asked her about how things had been. as far as use of the park. Last year for June, there were about 120,000. This year for June, they had around 260,000 visitors in the park, over 100,000 more. For July of last year, it was 140,000. This year, it was 280,000. They just don't have room. They were right at the point of closing the gates, not letting anybody in. And fortunately, a family that had had a big reunion over on the island all came out at one time and kind of relieved the pressure. But kayakers, if y'all have seen them all on cars in the back of pickups and sticking out the windows of SUVs, it's been unbelievable. And they've been parking anywhere they can just about and putting in the lake just about anywhere they can. They've had to close access to the boat ramp if you didn't have a boat on a trailer. They could not let people go down through there. Fortunately, the soccer league got canceled, so all those soccer families were not out there. But we are moving forward. Hopefully, there was a little silver lining out of this. We lost a federal grant, and we're actually pleased we did, because that grant required all the work, even though the work wasn't a federal work, every job had to be paid a federal scale, which upped the cost about $300,000 or so. They lost that grant, which is a plus, because we don't have to work under those grants. And Richard can tell you what the name of that is. He knows.
Davis-Bacon Act.
Yeah, the Davis-Bacon Act. So we're not under that now. We hope on the 14th we'll have competitive bids come in, and they hope to start work in October. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Okay. Next item on our agenda, or the next item we're going to handle, is the consent agenda. You have it. It's in blue paper. We have items 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 from the work session. And we have a motion to adopt it. Motion by Gardner, second by Cross, Akers. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, would you take the vote on the motion to adopt the consent agenda?
Akers, Blaylock, Broughton.
And she wouldn't be like, why didn't my baby come see me? And I'd be like, he's not, like what she said. No,
Okay.
Darlene,
yes.
Darlene, are you there?
Yes.
And what is your vote on the consent agenda?
Yes. Yes. Do you see me?
Yes, we can't see you.
Okay, Darlene, you're on.
Yes.
Okay, I got your vote.
If you called my name, Teresa, yes.
Crosswhite?
Yes.
Gardner?
Yes.
George? Glover? Parker Road? Parker Road absent?
Yep.
Oh, is he?
Turn him back on, Bobby.
Parker Road is a yes. Heron? Hutton?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
King?
Yes.
Leonard?
Yes.
Locke?
Yes.
Morrell?
Yes.
Stanley?
Yes.
Starnes?
Yes.
Stidham?
Yes.
Vance?
Yes.
Woods?
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? 24 yes.
Having received unanimous vote, the consent agenda is adopted as published. Next item up is our regular agenda, and I've had a request from the sponsor of item number 6 and we have guests with us that have stayed with us all night, and we appreciate you staying here with us. The sponsor, Commissioner Akert, is asked without objection to move item number 6 to the head of the old business agenda. Without objection, item number 6. Commissioner Akert, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. And before I read it, I do want to ask, since we've got the lawyers and accountants and economic development and the developer here, if they'd stand up and just come to the front. Mayor Luttrell, former mayor of Bristol, the city council, thanks for coming and everything. Yeah, he's not the current mayor, is he? Oh, is he? I thought Vince was. Well, Vince. That's right. That's right. That was last month, wasn't it? We will not do the whole presentation tonight, since there's no need to, I don't think. But I did understand, had some great conversations with everybody in the last week. One of the biggest questions was maybe if Hunter Lock could get a pool put in, but that's not on the drawings yet. But anyway, seriously, please consider it. If gentlemen are here, have any questions, or anyone have any thoughts before we vote on it? Everything.
Proper motion on the floor, properly second. Now we're in discussion. You have questions for the sponsor or our guest with us tonight. I know you covered this in work session. So anybody have questions about item number 6? Seeing no questions, I think you're ready to vote. 10 minutes over.
Madam Clerk.
Yes.
Broughton.
Yes.
Calvin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cole.
Yes.
Crawford. Cross.
Yes.
Crosswhite. Gardner.
Yes.
George. Parker.
Yes.
Heron. Hutton.
Yes.
Jones. King.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Locke.
Yes.
Morrell.
Yes.
Stanley. Starnes. Stidham.
Yes.
Vance.
Yes.
And Woods.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? 24 yes.
Having received necessary majority, item number 6 is adopted as published. Gentlemen, it was worth the wait.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we'll go back to item number 2, which is an old friend of this commission.
I know it.
Randy, you're recognized.
I would like to defer this to next month, Mr.
The next meeting, without objection, item number 2 is deferred. Item number 3, Commissioner Hutton, you're recognized on item number 3.
This resolution is just to adopt the rules of procedure for Sullivan County. You guys have had these for about 2 months now. This is the second reading. And I renew my motion for a resolution to be adopted.
Commissioner Hutton moves to adopt, properly seconded by Akert, Stanley, Starnes, Heron, and Jones. Any discussion, questions for the sponsor? Commissioner George, I keep looking up, it says Doug Woods, and Commissioner George, you're recognized.
I'm socially distancing like I'm supposed to. Mark, I read this way back when like I was supposed to, and right now my mind is blown, but my concern is that there is a nominating committee that is going to put together who is going to be nominated for different positions. And since normally things are nominated from the floor and we're a commission of 24, I hate to divide and have some people on a nominating committee. I just think that it's normally been nominations have been from the floor, and I just have a little concern about having a nominating committee as a subcommittee of all of us, unless you're still taking nominations from the floor.
Colette, I'm sure that we will be glad to take nominations from the floor. That is all about for the committees themselves. It's the nominating committee for people to be on the committees. That's what that's for. It's not just I mean, so you can nominate people from the floor if you'd like to do that. I mean, but there's just 5 people that would be selected. This is just renewing something that was done up until a few years ago. So that's why that's in there.
Okay. Commissioner Lance, you're recognized.
Mr. Hutton, thank you and the committee for putting the time into this. And I've read through it, and I do have some questions that I've highlighted. I would like to ask you for the deferral of this for 1 month, so we can go through all the questions I had for clarification. I agree with Ms. George in regarding the way the appointments are going to be taken care of. But there's a couple other questions that I had. But would you be willing to defer that until next month? We have a little bit more time to look at it. Maybe I can email you some of my questions to get those things answered.
Commissioner Vance, I will not. Everybody had this. They've had this in front of you for 2 months. I've asked in 2 different work sessions and actually 1 regular session. If you have any questions, to email me and I could put those to the committee. This is something that sat through all the commissioners that are on that, sat through with Mr. Street, Mr. Bailey, the mayor had a chance. Everybody's had a chance to look at it. I don't know why we'd need another month. If you have questions, you can ask them away or we can move forward. I think everybody's had enough time to look at it. Maybe they just didn't until the last minute.
Any other questions? Sam, you're recognized.
Mark, I sat through all those sessions. I think I made them all. Might missed one, but we did cover a lot of material, and I thank you for leading it. I do have the questions. I think each of us have that opportunity to make a nomination from a floor for a position. And I hate to, the more I've looked at this, the more I've studied it, I think you're taking away, that nominating committee is taking away authority from this commission body. And therefore, I'm going to withdraw my name as a co-sponsor, even though I was on the committee. I cannot support this part of the rules that we wrote. And they are our own rules, but that's one part that I've decided that I can't support. I can support the rest of it, but that one part, I feel like taking away every person in here, their authority to make a nomination. So I withdraw my co-sponsor.
Without objection. Further discussion, questions for sponsor.
Well, I haven't heard a motion or other than the request to delay it. I mean, if you're asking that we put in there that nominations can be made from the floor, then we can make that amendment. But the people that are on the nominating committee are actually nominated by the commission itself. I mean, that's how it's written. We're the ones that actually populate the nominating committee. The commission itself nominates the nominating committee. I don't see how that takes away power, but I understand what's being said here. So that's fine. Mr. Jones, if you want to withdraw your name, that's fine.
Okay, further questions for the sponsor. Mark, if I could, since my office is generally responsible for preparing resolutions, I know in the revised rules that Dan's office is referred to, and resolution ideas must go to the standing committees and then to Dan for publication. I was just wondering if Dan's prepared to handle all the resolutions for the county.
Are you talking about, I was under the impression that I had changed that in the rules, that it could go to me, but it could go to you. I thought that's what they read. So if you're talking about one rule in particular, I thought we discussed that several times, and I tried to catch them all. No, I don't want it in the rules that it comes only to my office.
I don't think that's in there.
Okay, I guess the copy I had must have been one before it got changed, so. Any further questions from the commission? Seeing none, we're ready to vote.
Akerd?
Yes.
Blaylock? Broughton?
Yes.
Calton?
No.
Cole?
Yes.
Crawford?
No.
Cross?
No.
Crosswhite? Gardner? George? Glover? Parker Road?
No.
I'm sorry, could you repeat?
No, thumbs down.
Heron? Hutton?
Yes.
Jones? King? Leonard?
Yes.
Locke?
No.
Morrell? Stanley? Starnes? Stidham? Vance? Woods?
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? 15 yes, 9 no.
How many?
15 yes, 9 no.
The county attorney just advised me that it takes a 2/3 vote to change this. Dan, would you speak to that?
Yes, to change the rules, which basically we are because we have a set of rules. Or I would assume to adopt, I guess I'd have to look, but the rules require 2/3 vote.
And Madam Clerk, would you announce the vote again?
15 yes, 9 no.
Having failed to receive the necessary vote for approval, item number 3 is rejected. Moving on to item number 4 on your agenda. Commissioner Crosswhite, you're recognized on item number 4.
Thank you, Mayor. This resolution is to rescind the original resolution 42618 entirely as approved on July the 16th, 2018 to reduce the number of Sullivan County Commissioners to 18 members and the number of constables to 3 per district beginning with the 2022 election. We've discussed this. Jason's talked about this, so it's up to you all. If it don't pass, I'll be back after the census.
You've heard the information and the motion for adoption, and properly second, Commissioner Starnes. Without objection. Any discussion, questions for the sponsor? Seeing none, I think you're ready to vote.
I'm up.
I'm sorry? Okay, I'm getting a little feedback up here. I'm sorry, take the vote.
I'm trying to ask a question.
Oh, I'm sorry, David, I didn't see you. You're recognized.
All right. Dan, I guess this question is more for you, because in the previous motion, we're changing the rules or adopting the rules. So what is this? On this one, if we're voting to rescind a resolution that is a rule or not a rule about how many commissioners we have.
Rescinding the resolution merely takes a majority.
So we don't have to have 2/3 vote on this one?
No.
Okay.
No, and that's why I asked Dan to explain that. I wasn't aware that the previous resolution required 2/3 vote.
Well, I think it's still kind of in question. It was, were we adopting the rules or were we changing rules and everything? You know?
I think Dan has ruled on that. I wish that would have been said before the vote.
and everything. I wish that would have been said before the vote.
Okay.
You know.
Well, again, it's, every commissioner and my responsibility to know the rules to the best of my ability, and I try to do that, and it's the commissioner's responsibility to know the rules also. We're on item number 4. And we have proper motion on the floor, properly second. We're ready to vote. Madam Clerk, take the vote on item number 4.
Akerd,
Yes.
Blaylock,
No, now, but rescind next year.
Broughton,
Yes.
Calton,
No.
Cole,
No.
Crawford,
Yes.
Cross,
Yes.
Crosswhite, Gardner,
No.
George, Glover,
Yes.
Harkroad, Terry, yes, Heron, Hutton,
Yes.
Jones,
No.
King,
Yes.
Leonard,
Yes.
Locke, Morrell,
Yes.
Stanley, Starnes, Stidham, Vance,
No.
and Woods.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? 15 yes, 8 no, 1 abstain.
Having received the necessary majority, item number 4 is adopted. Next up, item number 5, Commissioner George, you're recognized on item number 5.
Thank you, Mayor. I have changed this, and I've turned that, given it in, that what this is this is just because we ask all the different heads of departments to cut their budget to help us with this year to keep the tax rate where we wanted to keep it. This resolution asks that the commissioners do not accept the raise that we would be receiving now. I've changed the wording, as everybody suggested, that it will sunset when this term does. So this is only freezing the salary for the 2 years. So when the new commissioners come in 2022, it will revert back to the policy of automatic raises. At that point, those people will come in with the raise. But this is just since all the other departments were so wonderful and did look at their budgets and reduce 2%, it just kind of seemed hard that we were taking a pay increase this same year. So that's what the resolution is, and I hope you guys will consider it. And the new wording has been turned in, and it does sunset with my term. So
Okay, it is amended from the.
It is, and I've already turned in the paperwork.
With the original. Okay, I'm going to have to make a list. First one I saw was Alicia, and then I saw Mr. Cross, and who else? Ms. Stanley, Joe. Anybody else? I can't write that fast, but I can put down initials. Alicia, you. May I do it properly? The commissioner moved for adoption, properly seconded by Commissioner Vance. We're in discussion. Alicia, you're recognized as soon as you get the microphone.
Can I be as co-sponsor, please? Thank you.
Without objection, as sponsor. Mr. Cross.
As you say, sunsetting with this term and starting with the next, does that mean for this year there was a raise, and if there was another raise next year, it would double up when the new commissioners came in?
No,
or it would start where it is right now?
What it means is that we will keep our pay as what we had last year.
All right.
Next year, we will not get a raise because it's already decided.
Yes, ma'am.
This resolution sunsets. So when the new commissioners start in 2022, it goes back to the normal pay, which is we receive 7% of the mayor's salary. So whatever point the mayor's salary is at that point, those commissioners will come in with the verbiage. So they will actually start higher than where we are because we did not take a raise.
I understand that.
And it'll be based on whatever, this will be out of the picture. So their pay will be figured based on the 7% per commissioner of the mayor's salary. This just freezes
us right now.
Us this year and us next year.
So that leaves 2 years, and this was my initial question. So that means that here's us.
Yes.
All right, here's the new people coming in, right?
It'll be based on 7%.
Exactly. That could be quite a large jump to gap.
And that will be up to that commission to make that decision because that will be their vote, not ours.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cross. I had Mr. Herron, but I had somebody before Mr. Herron. Ms. Stanley.
I was going to see if I could be a co-sponsor, please.
Absolutely.
Mr. Herron.
Thank you, sir. When you're talking about a big jump, that new commission will not get the raise that if you vote it down now, they'll just get whatever they got starting from there. It's not going to jump and jump. That makes sense.
It'll be based on 70% of whatever the
right. And just the only other comment I wanted to make, today is my last full commission meeting the way I was sworn in. And so I don't feel that I should vote either way. So I'm going to abstain because I'm not going to be here to go one way or the other because I've been on the commission 18 years. I didn't even know we was even getting paid then. Money wasn't ever an issue with me as service. But I'm going to abstain only because I won't be here and I will not be impacted. Thank you.
Mr. Cross, I believe Herschel had requested.
Yes.
Herschel, you're recognized.
Dan, this is a question for you. Would the new commission coming in have to rescind this resolution to accept the pay raise?
No, not the way I understand this.
Yeah, this has been done to its sunsets. It ends with when I go off in 2022. This is removed. It's the way Dan wrote it for me.
Okay.
So then the new group does not have to rescind it. It's set up just to cover the next 2 years only.
Thank you, Mr. Cross.
I just want to make clear of what I was asking earlier because when Mr. Herron said what he just said, it threw off what I was thinking was correct. And I'm sorry if I'm wasting time here, but if we don't move, you said the next commission will come in where we are. They'll come in wherever that 7% has went to.
Correct.
That could be a significant, if we're here and he got so many percentage of a raise, that new commission, you're going to have to pay every commissioner this much.
No, it will be 7% of the mayor's raise at the time that when in 2022, whatever the mayor is making, each commissioner, however 24 of them, will get 7% of that.
I understand that.
Herschel?
I've got a question for the sponsor. And I don't have a clue if they get paid or not. But since you're on the Kingsport Board of Mayor and Alderman, are you going to propose an amendment like this for the alderman to freeze their pay?
The alderman's pay is not tied in to anything.
Doesn't matter. It's still
That's correct. As far as I know, I get $200 a month for being an alderman, and that has been, as far as I know, that's been that way for 20 years.
Are you willing to do this same proposal for the alderman in Kingsport that we're going through?
If there was ever a pay raise, we don't have any automatic pay raise. We would have to vote ourselves a pay. So there's no need to freeze a salary because there is no pay increase as an alderman. My $200 is been there forever. That's not a automatic resolution. There's not a pay for that.
So now you're understanding where we're coming from. If the commission votes to give themselves a pay raise in the future. That's kind of where we're coming from. We don't want the constituents out here to say, well, that new commission, first thing it done was vote herself a raise or, they accepted this big pay raise. I don't think we should put the next commission in that,
We
in that
don't.
position.
This ends and it goes back. This resolution is only in effect for 2 years. At the end of 2 years, this resolution's off the table. Therefore, the past the pay increases that are in place now are still in place. They pick back up. So the salary for those will be set based on 7% of the mayor's, as it has. This just freezes, since we ask everybody else to do 2%, this means we this year do not take a raise. Next year we wouldn't be up for one. The following year, this is gone. This removes itself the way Dan wrote it. There is nothing going forward. She's got a copy. It specifically says it ends there, which sunsets it so that what is in place now is automatically there. And that's what I was trying to say here. Their salary will immediately be based on 7% of the mayor's unless they vote themselves a raise in addition to that, to change it. But it goes back to what has been voted on by that. This just base and as Mr. Vance said, we would not get a raise next year. So this just says this year we're not accepting the raise just because we ask everybody else to cut also. Does that explain it better? And you don't have the verbiage, but he wrote it, so it sunsets. This goes away.
Thank you, Commissioner Broughton.
Thank you, Mayor. With anything you do, there's unintended consequences. And I was just curious, have you addressed this with the BOE, because this will freeze their pay as well?
This doesn't freeze theirs. This is
Contraire, mon frere. Their pay is exactly as ours.
Yes,
sir. So if we freeze ours, theirs is froze.
No, sir.
How could it not be?
It's very simple. This says the pay of the county commissioners.
Time out. Their pay is exactly
That's
ours.
correct.
If ours is froze, then theirs is froze. It's exactly ours. So have you discussed this with them, yes or no?
Mr. Street, will you explain that it only addresses the 24 county commissioners here?
Well, before now, what are we talking about here?
The BOE pay is directly tied to the commission pay. Whatever the commission makes.
I'd have to read what.
Yes, I was there when it passed. Dr. Yini is the one that proposed it.
I'm not disputing what you're saying,
right.
but
so if we freeze our pay, their pay is froze. Was anybody told them about this, or we'll be like, oh gosh,
we don't have any control over their pay, so they could change it, I suppose, if they want to.
No, Mr. Street, you're incorrect. It's exactly ours.
Calm down. I mean, what are you yelling at everybody?
I'm not trying to.
We're not talking over each other. We're not going to do that. We're going to have a discussion. We're going to have a question and an answer.
I mean, you spring this question on us and you act like we're lying to you. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm confused.
I've told you, I don't know the answer to your question. Okay. You have to read what it says.
Let me see if I can. Secondly, you mentioned had they been notified. This deals with county commission pay, but inadvertently or by design affects their pay.
It's identical hours, correct?
If that's what you're saying, I'm not going to argue that fact, but I don't think that's pertinent to freezing our.
I'm worried that.
Okay, let's go.
You know what I'm saying?
Angie. Push a button. There you go.
I'm sorry. Since that is unclear, I'm going to remove my name from that.
Yeah. Alicia, you're recognized. You got a microphone?
My name off of it too, since that's unclear right now.
Without objection. Barry, you recognized?
Clyde, how much was this pay raise? Like $26? $32? Well, no, what I was saying, Andrew, you said there's going to be a big increase from, it's $32 for them when they come into the new commission. Wherever it is, 30, 32, 26.
Depending what the state has said.
Okay, this is directed toward the sponsor, not the questioner. Just correct the record. Okay. Any other comments before we vote on this? We're gonna vote because somebody was getting ready to call a question.
Well, again,
And I don't want to vote on calling questions, so Madam Clerk, take the vote on item number 5.
Akerd,
Yes.
Blaylock,
Yes.
Broughton, Calton,
Yes.
Cole,
Yes.
Crawford, Cross,
No.
Crosswhite, Gardner,
Your place, way over in Russia. Oh, look at this.
George,
yes.
Let's roll.
Harpo,
That's enough.
Heron, Hutton,
No.
Jones,
Yeah.
King, Leonard,
Yes.
Locke,
Yes.
Morrell,
Yes.
Stanley, Starnes, Stidham,
Yes.
Vance,
Yes.
Woods.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote?
Madam Clerk, I wish to change my,
I'm sorry?
I wish to change my abstention.
16 yes, 5 no. I can't even count. 4 abstain.
That
Right.
would be 25 votes.
That would be 24. 16, 5, and 4. Do we have one absent?
Are we short one?
That's
Over one?
That should be 24. That's 25.
Okay, for the noes, I have Cross, Glover, Hutton, King, Morrell. Is that correct? No? Pardon, yes, you're a yes?
No, you said yes.
It is, it's getting late. 16 yes, 4 no, and 4 abstain.
Having received a necessary majority, item number 5 is adopted. We have moved item number 6 under old business to the head of the calendar. So item 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 were on consent calendar. So we're up to number 12 on first reading. But Herschel, you have requested that your item be.
Item number 18, please.
Item number 18 be moved to the head of the agenda, and without objection, we will, if there is no objection, we will move item number 18 to the head of new business. And Mr. Glover, you're recognized.
I appreciate that, Mayor. We've got a lot of older veterans that wanted to stay for this, and I think we can move on and let them move on home. This resolution is to appropriate funding for Disabled American Veterans, Chapter 39 of Bristol, Tennessee, as an established nonprofit to be included in charitable and civic organization appropriations for the fiscal year 2021. Whereas Chapter 39 of Disabled American Veterans currently has 8 certified veteran service officers and many extraordinary volunteers that provide timely and documented assistance to multiple veterans throughout the year, including but not limited to 8 certified veteran officers, local volunteer assistance program providing direct assistance to veterans in the community, transportation from surrounding areas to the VA, medical appointments, food pantry operations, and whereas Chapter 39 of Disabled Veterans, extraordinary volunteers work relentlessly to fulfill promises to the men and women who are injured, sickened while serving their nation in uniform, and whereas Chapter 39 of Disabled Veterans, extraordinary volunteers have and reported numerous hours of dedicated to empowering veterans to lead high quality lives with respect and dignity. And whereas Chapter 39 of Disabled American Veterans displays a professional and priceless attitude of honor, and caring for our community veterans. And now therefore it be resolved that the Sullivan County Board of County Commissioners values the work of disabled American veterans, Chapter 39 volunteers and certified veteran service officers, and approves their charitable and civic organization appropriation request of $11,662. This resolution will take effect from after its passage, and I'm asking waiver of rules on this, please.
Mr. Glover moves for immediate introduction and adoption of item number 18 to waive the rule, seconded by Crawford, King, Harold, and Will. Open for discussion. Anybody have questions for the sponsor? Commissioner George, you're recognized.
Thank you. When we looked at the budget, all the nonprofits, I think Mr. Bailey will say that they each took a 2% reduction from where they were last year. And I noticed in your amount that you're not doing a 2% reduction. It is actually a 2% reduction from where you all were funded last year. Okay.
Yes,
because
ma'am.
I was looking at the number I saw. I didn't think it from where it was funded last year. I thought so. It's a 2%. Okay. That was my only thing because I know in the thing
Yes.
everything was 2%.
Commissioner Vance.
I just wanted to say this, this resolution is appropriate funding, so this means it'll be here just for 1 year. It's not being put back into the budget as an item. So this will have to be voted on every year if you're going to carry it forward. We know who you are. But I'm just saying, usually stuff like this right here is when you do the budget, you do budget amendments to add something back into the budget, and that way you don't have to pass it on each resolution each year.
This was in the budget this past year, and to this point in time, I've not got an answer of how it got took out of the budget. I can't, Commissioner King made a motion at the last budget meeting to put it back in, and Commissioner Crawford seconded, and it did not come to a vote. And this is a very, very important amount of money to these veterans. I think you heard Mr. Harmon speak tonight on how important this is. And with this COVID and with the stuff that we're going through right now, these veterans are going to need more assistance and more attention. And I think we need to vote on this for them and move forward with it. I do have the original resolution here when we did vote on the Veterans Service Officer for the county. I do hope during this next year that they can work together and form some type of policy to where they can depend on each other and move forward, because I think we're missing the point here. I think our veterans are more important to us than two different groups. And that's what I'm saying. There shouldn't be no competition. We should take care of them regardless. And if I have to put this back in there next year, I'll be willing to put it back in there next year as a form of a resolution or whatever we need to do to make sure we take care of the folks that fought for us and give us opportunity to be sitting here tonight to do and be able to do what we can to help the community. So I appreciate you.
Mr. Cross has a comment or question. Andrew?
Thank you, Mayor. From what I'm seeing here, and I'm just trying to clear up procedure, this isn't, it's to approve the appropriation request. Does that change whether or not your question about it being in the budget each year?
like anything, we get one-time appropriation. That doesn't mean it's back in the budget.
Okay, that was just a question. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Crawford. Mr. King, you're recognized.
When we was in our budget committee, when we was first looking at our budget, it was in there. And then it was taken out. And that's my question. We never did vote to take it out. I just want to know who had the authority to take it out, or who did take it out.
That's a good question, and I think we need to check the record, and we'll try to get you that answer.
And again, I'm not trying to, pick at anybody or say, you're guilty of doing this or whatever, but, when something's in there, then, and it was a line item, it's been in there 2 years.
Well, I think you've made your point, and we need to check
or longer, and then when somebody takes it out, without us voting on it, I've kind of got a problem with that.
If it were inadvertently taken out without a vote, or if the item that was voted on by the Budget Commission did not contain that, we'll just have to check the record and see. I don't know. I don't recall.
It was never there. Right.
Well, let's resolve that. We will check the record and see how it.
But again, at our last budget committee meeting, I did make the motion to put it back in, and if I need to, I'll make that motion again.
Well, we will have another budget committee. I've told Ms. Crosswhite, and as you know, we're going to have one more budget committee meeting before we bring the budget to this commission.
Right.
So you'll have ample opportunity to do that.
Yes. All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else have a question?
Whether it's the next committee or not, Mr. Chairman, I feel that we need to move forward with this tonight and vote on it and make sure that we got the money available for our veterans.
Well, the sponsor renews his motion to suspend the rules for immediate introduction and adoption of item 18. Properly seconded. Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Akerd. Yes. Blaylock. Broughton. Shelton. Yes.
Been very nice. Good night, everybody.
Cole.
Yes.
Crawford.
Yes.
Cross.
Yes.
Crosswhite. Gardner. Glover. Hartwell.
Yes.
You can't hear me?
Well, I think the background noise, you tried to cut them off, but go ahead.
Harker votes yes. Heron. Hutton.
Yes.
Jones. King.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Locke.
Yes.
Morrell.
Yes.
Stanley. Yes. Starnes.
Yes.
Stidham.
Yes.
Vance.
Yes.
Woods.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? 23 yes, 1 abstain.
Having received the necessary majority, item 18 is adopted. Now we're back to item number 12. Commissioner Glover, I believe you're the sponsor for item number 12. You're recognized.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. This resolution is to approve the Private Act Chapter number 46 regarding the Sullivan County Financial Management System of 2020. Whereas May 21st, 2020, the Sullivan County Board of Commissioners meeting in regular session approved resolution number 2020-02-16 requesting the Tennessee General Assembly to pass legislation enacting said management system. And whereas in June 2020, the 111th Tennessee General Assembly approved private chapter number 46, also known as House Bill 2933 and Senate Bill 2937. Now therefore it be resolved that the Sullivan County Board of Commissioners meeting in regular session pursuant to TCA 8-3-201 and 8-3-202 does hereby approve and adopt private chapter number 46 of the 111th General Assembly. Waiver of rules requested, please.
You've heard the explanation, and Mr. Glover moves for adoption, seconded by Crosswhite King. We have any discussion? This has to be approved by TCA code by 2/3 vote of the Sullivan County Commission to adopt this. Generally, that's the way of the rule, but that is the code on adopting private acts. So, any discussion?
Yes.
Oh, John, I'm sorry, I didn't see you.
He said John.
You're recognized.
Oh, okay. I thought you said John. Herschel, if it's okay with you, could everybody voting in affirmative be listed as a co-sponsor?
Yes, sir. We agreed that at the work session last week. Most definitely. Yes, sir. Everyone voting in the affirmative will be a co-sponsor.
Without objection. Thank you, Joe. Any other discussion? Seeing none, we're ready to vote.
Akerd? Yes. Blaylock? Broughton?
Yes.
Calton?
Yes.
Cole?
Yes.
Crawford?
Yes.
Cross?
Yes.
Crosswhite? Gardner? Ford? Glover?
Yes.
Yes.
Karen? Hutton?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
King?
Yes.
Leonard?
Yes.
Flock?
Yes.
Morrell?
Yes.
Stanley?
Yes.
Starnes? Stidham?
Yes.
Vance?
Yes.
Woods? Woods?
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? 24 yes.
Having received the necessary majority, item number 12 is adopted. And I want to congratulate Sullivan County, the sponsors and the co-sponsors and the commission. A big day in the history of Sullivan County. So thank you. Item number 13, Commissioner Torrance, you're recognized on first reading for item number 13.
In approximately 14 years.
It hasn't been updated in approximately 14 years. I contacted all of the elected department heads, and they all gave me the thumbs up to do it. I think the reason it was brought to my attention by some people that work in the county, it doesn't, there's nothing in there about Facebook, social media, emails, stuff like that, and that's such a big part of our lives now that I think we need to look at it and see, take suggestions on what we should do.
Commissioner Torrance moves for passage on first reading.
Yes.
On first reading. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 14, Commissioner Stanley.
Thank you, Mayor. This resolution is to authorize the Sullivan County purchasing agent to enter into an agreement with OCV LCC or LLC in Auburn, Alabama, to develop a mobile app and integrated website with support services for the Sheriff's Department. It will contain the content specific to our agency and to approve the purchase of additional inmate mattresses from Chestnut Ridge, a training simulator system from DART, and correctional employee chairs using the Securus Tech grant funds. The sheriff's office will enter into a 60-month agreement in October. They entered into an agreement on October 2019 with Securus, which included a $900,000 tech grant payable January the 1st, 2020. The sheriff's office desires to have an app created with an integrated website with content specific to our agency by OCV for $39,150 for a 3-year agreement, and that will include the maintenance and tech support. The sheriff's office desires to obtain a training simulator system with a hardware, software, accessories, on-site training from DART in Florida for $17,550. The sheriff's office desires to obtain additional high-quality inmate mattresses and correctional employee chairs at approximately $54,288 and $4,200 respectively. The County Commission of Sullivan County, assembled in our regular session, hereby authorizes the purchasing agent to execute an agreement with OCV for $39,150 and approve the purchase of the training simulator mattresses, chairs for operations for roughly $76,038 for a total of $115,188 and cumulative total of roughly $615,000 from the Securus Tech grant as recommended by the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office. And Mr. Frank is here if anybody has any questions.
You've heard the explanation. Ms. Stanley moved to
waiver of rules, please.
To waive the rule for the immediate introduction and adoption of item number 14, seconded by Commissioner Stidham.
Thank you.
And our friend Frank Horn is here to answer any questions that we might have about this. Commissioner Crawford, you're recognized.
Yes. Of course, all this money and this expenditure is coming from the grant, the $900,000, but it's a cumulative total of $615,000. Is that other money still going to be available for other purchases down the road, Frank? So there's approximately right at $300,000 left that you can have at your disposal.
Correct. I think 285.
Yeah.
Frank, come on up. We'll go ahead and
285 will be the balance left.
Yes, roughly speaking, this will get to 615,000 and 285 remaining.
Are there plans in the future that you know of for the expenditure of that other $250,000? Will you share some of that, or are you at liberty to? Do you wish to?
Well, we're still looking into it. We have maybe some vehicles in mind and also additional support for the operation. So we want to make sure that we utilize the funding, but we also want to be flexible enough that if something goes awry and we need to purchase something that we don't have on the list right now, then we'll not consider doing that. Just whatever's a priority. But we definitely will utilize the funding, no question about it.
Thank you. Thank you, Frank. Any other questions, Frank, before we vote? You got them. Thank you, Frank. Ms. Stanley renews her motion. Properly second.
I was trying to get to 10 before 11, though.
How you doing?
Blaylock, Broughton, Calton.
Yes.
Cole,
Yes.
Crawford.
Yes.
Cross.
Yes.
Crosswhite. Taylor. George. Glover. Hargrave.
Yes.
Heron. Hutton.
Yes.
Hutton.
Yes.
Jones. King. Leonard.
Yes.
Locke. Morrell. Stanley. Starnes.
Stidham.
Yes.
Vance.
Yes.
Woods.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? 24 yes.
Having received the necessary majority, item number 14 is adopted. Next up is item number 15. Commissioner Jones on first reading, item number 15. Did you just want it on first reading, Sam? First reading. Item number 16. Commissioner Jones, first reading? Without objection. Item number 17. First reading, without objection. Now I'm going to have to stop because I think I'm missing a resolution. We're good? Okay, item number 19 next. Commissioner Vance, you're up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This resolution here is going to be on first reading. It's basically to deal with the employees that's gone through the COVID-19, where that they've been having to work long hours and so forth. They've not been able to take their accumulated vacation time and so forth. And the county policy manual actually says that they would lose those if they didn't. So we're going to ask to extend that deadline to June 30th, 2021. That comes from the Council and Budget Department as a request. Resolution number 20 is that the EMS station, number 10 on Wilcox Drive, they got the bids in on it. The bids actually has to be signed by, we're in August the 30th. This is taking the money from part of the CARES Act to fund that project. And also Resolution 21 is actually the acceptance of that grant money, which we have to spend 30% of that by September 30th. So I would like to ask waiver rules on item 21, if we could, so that the county can go ahead and accept those funds, and they can go ahead and do the 30% expenditure, which is $709,000.
Without objection, item 19 on first reading, item 20 on first reading. Sponsor moves for the immediate introduction and adoption of item 21.
Yeah, we may put 20 on waiver rules too, and Mr. Bailey's here. We're learning stuff really quick about this COVID money. The state, they've applied for it, and the state's requiring us to approve the acceptance of it, and that's why it's come so late in the day. The floor, which I don't like doing, but Mr. Bailey asked if we could put that on, so I'm going to open.
Sure, Mr. Second, for passage, now we're in discussion. Anybody have any questions on item number 20? Sam?
Well, let me ask, is 22 tied to that also marks? Is that big expense? Do we need to do that on waiver rules also?
Yes, sir. I'm trying to make sure y'all get all your information, because I don't like bringing resolutions at the end of the day and feel like we're trying to do something. Yes, 21, we have to accept. Say 22, we're establishing the fund, accepting the funds to improvement of facilities needed. That's what the funds are going to be used for.
22 spending $950,000. Is that money?
I got you, Andrew.
That's the White's resolution.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Bailey, nodding up and down, is that we need to act on all three? There would be some advantage if you did it. I apologize for being so late. Right. Come back to the fact I was kind of distracted from other things. We got to research it. Basically, looking at the contract with the EMS building, realizing it now needs to be signed, and we didn't have the appropriation set up yet to fund it. So if you approve the contract, you do need to have some funds in the budget to do it. And that's what brought these three together tonight. proper to act on all three of them fast, or do we need to have three votes?
That's, I believe we ought to have 3 votes. Thank you. And so we're talking about 20, 21, and 22. We need to suspend the rules on each one there. Okay, item number 20 comes to you with a motion to suspend the rules for immediate introduction of item number 20. Andrew, you had a question on item number 20?
No, sir, it's on 21, so I will wait.
Okay. Any discussion on item number 20? Madam Clerk, would you take the vote?
Akerd.
Yes.
Blaylock. Broughton.
Yes.
Calton.
Yes.
Cole.
Yes.
Crawford. Cross. Crosswhite. Gardner. George. Glover. Parker Road.
Yes.
Heron. Hutton.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
King.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Locke.
Yes.
Morrell.
Yes.
Stanley.
Yes.
Starnes.
Yes.
Stidham.
Yes.
Vance.
Yes.
And Woods.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? 24 yes.
Having received necessary majority, item number 20 is adopted. Mr. Vance on item number 21.
Okay, this resolution here is the part that we've got to try to spend that money, which, 709,506, by September 30th. And I think that may go in correlation with resolution 20. Will that satisfy that there, Mr. The 30% for the EMS station we approved, would that satisfy that?
That won't be part of this amount, because this is a separate amount of money.
Now say that again.
This is one of these is state funds, the other one's federal funds.
Oh, so there are 2 different ones.
Yeah, this is federal, and that 30,
Okay.
September 30th was a shocker to us when we got to looking at it, and so quickly has to be turned around, and we lose out on the remainder of that if we don't get it spent.
Okay.
You've heard the explanation. Mr. Vance moves immediate introduction and adoption of item number 21, second by Commissioner Gardner. Discussion. Mr. Cross.
So I understand this is federal funds, and there's a lot of strings attached with the federal monies. But I have to stop and think for a moment. I mean, September 30th, we're throwing this out here pretty quick. I mean, we have another meeting before September 30th.
One of the points is we've got to commit to some stuff and plan. We don't have to, because I don't like that either.
No, sir.
Too quick. But that's what they gave us. And when I asked, are we going to lose the money? Indicated to me we probably would.
Absolutely. And I don't want to lose a cent of money. But I sit here and I look at this and I hear us talk all the time in here. I mean, I brought up resolutions about money, and we all the time are talking in here about saving, keeping taxes down, doing all this. And now here we're sitting looking. I know this has to be used for specific reasons. I understand that. I know strings attached with grants and federal money. But I'm looking here at, there was 2,000,003 there, 2,000,001 on the last page, which we need that EMS station. I'm not saying nothing about that, but I'm sitting here kind of looking at this going, we got to all of a sudden at 11:13 at night spend 30% of $2 million, 2,000,003. That's just a little bit shaky for me. I mean, I would like to accept it and next month spend it.
Can I say something in reference to that? I'll tell you what we'll do. If we'll pass this resolution, and then next month we'll bring back, or you all bring back things to spend that money for. I mean, that makes sense.
Let me ask Larry a question, maybe speak to what you said, Andrew. The 30% is that we've got to accumulate those costs of monies that are already spent. We will go through every department and say, we've got to cover 30% of this by September 30th. Give us your bills. It's a reimbursable grant. So they're gonna give us money up front, but the rest of the grant's reimbursable. So we're gonna have to send them bills to justify that 30% or $600,000. Does that make any more sense, Andrew?
No, sir, it doesn't. If you
It
don't
doesn't?
mind explaining that just a little bit more. I'm
Sorry.
sorry.
Yeah. Commissioner Ackert, you're recognized.
Well, I mean, I'll try it just from a business standpoint. They got a PP loan and all that. So what it's saying right here is if those funds previously expended were out of the various departments' budget. So what they're saying is this money's already been spent. We're going to get reimbursed for money that we've spent during, like, we're not going to take that 700,000 and just go buy a new truck or something like that. So,
Okay.
yes, so it's kind of like we're coming back with the departments, like you said, to give us during the time frame that it incorporates from March, whenever it was, to now.
Yes.
Yes, the receipts. So the number 709 is based on 30%. So we got to come up with receipts that match that, and then we'll get the rest of it. And then,
That makes a lot more sense. Thank you. Yes, and that makes so much more sense. I'm 100% behind this.
Yeah, this that was what's different about this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner Ackert.
Mayor.
All right, I'm losing control. Are you back to me?
I'm smiling, Joyce. Okay, we're ready to vote on this.
Yes.
Item
Mayor.
number 21.
For the record,
Mayor.
please act Ms. Charles Carlton, Darlene Carlton. She was big co-sponsor.
Darlene, you added without objection, added as a sponsor.
Thank you.
Anything else? Angie, all those voting in the affirmative, without objection, all those voting in the affirmative will be listed as prime co-sponsors. Any more further discussion? I think we're ready to vote. On item 21, Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Ackert.
Yes.
Blaylock. Broughton. Helton.
Yes.
Cole.
Yes.
Crawford. Cross. Crosswhite. Gardner. George. Rover. Hargrove.
Yes.
Barron. Hutton.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
King.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Locke.
Yes.
Morrell.
Yes.
Stanley. Starnes. Stidham.
Yes.
Vance.
Yes.
Woods.
Yes.
Thank y'all for approving those, but I don't like bringing them to you at the last minute like that.
Would anyone like to change their vote? 24 yes.
Having received the necessary majority, item number 21 is adopted. Commissioner King, you're recognized on item number 22. You want me to have him removed? He's been beat up tonight. Go out, give him a break.
All right, this resolution is part of the 2020. If you look at it, the $2,160,265, this is part of it. This $950,000 is going to do some very needed repairs and updates to a part of our building here. We've got about 4,500 square feet that's being used as a storage, and we want to take, and it's the old jail, take everything out of it, redo it, and we're going to have to, with the resolution we passed with the schools, we're going to have more office space for them. So that's what this will go for, to have more office space for our budget and accounting, and when we combine with the schools, places for them. So I think this is something that's needed. We've been heating and cooling it, and all over there's records, and we need to clean it out and put some new windows in it, put another escape, and dress up some of the entrance to it. So that's what that's what it'll go for. It's $950,000, and it's part of that. And yes, it's at the last minute, but it needs to be spent so we can, get some of this back. So I think it's very net. I've been working on this, trying to get this done since I was here before, and never did have the opportunity to have the funds to do it with. But I think we've got it now, and I think we need to move forward. This would be a good asset for our county, and especially our budget in the county, have them a better place, and we can do some other things also in our courthouse. So I very much ask for y'all to vote yes on this.
You've heard the explanation. Mr. King moves for immediate introduction and adoption of item number 22, seconded by Commissioner Glover. Commissioner Cross, you're recognized.
Is that 950? Is that the bid you've gotten on that, or is that what it's going to cost, or is that a rough estimate?
That's a rough estimate. We've got some just rough bids to take out of the bars and everything else and do some of the windows. But this will just be a starting place. And then we'll have enough money to finish it coming from other funds. But this is a place to start. And we've got to do this. I mean, we're wasting a ton of money over here on space that we're not using. I mean, 4,500 square feet, we can do a whole lot with that. And we just we're heating and cooling it anyway. So we need to fix it to where we can use it. And there's a lot of things that we can do with that space. So I think it's it'll make our courthouse look a whole lot better, and we can have more space to use. Any other questions?
Okay, Commissioner Stidham.
So that's roughly going to leave us between about 385, 400,000 of that 2 million left.
Yeah, I hadn't added the figures exactly.
I think it's about 385, 500.
That's close. That's close.
Do we have a plan what we're going to do with that money, or are we going to? Can we bring in some items in the county that need to be taken care of?
That'd be between the mayor and
I think Commissioner could assist us greatly in that.
Got my support.
Commissioner George, you're recognized.
Now, is this grant money or is this money?
This is out of the CARES.
Okay. I just didn't. I was trying to read that.
The CARES, the COVID money, CARES Act. What are you going to call it? Chinese virus. There you go. Chinese virus.
Commissioner Morrell.
Does Dwight or Larry or whoever, this balance that Gary was talking about, I noticed on all three of the resolutions, it says to be spent within county government. So the rest of this has to be spent within county government per se. Right?
Yes.
Is that right? Okay.
There's certain things that we can spend it on, and what we're doing is part of what we can spend it with. So, yeah, we got to vote on this.
Randy, this was not a COVID appropriation. This was actually appropriated by the General Assembly in February as part of the governor's budget and part of revenue sharing for counties that we've never gotten before. So this is actually totally new money.
Right.
Yeah. Any further questions? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on item 22. Madam Clerk, would you take the vote?
Akerd. Blaylock. Broughton. Calton.
Yes.
Cole.
Yes.
Crawford. Cross. Crosswhite. Gardner. George. Glover. Harkrow.
Yes.
Heron.
Yes.
Hutton.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
King.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Locke.
Yes.
Morrell.
Yes.
Stanley. Starnes. Stidham. Vance.
Yes.
And Woods.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote?
22 yes, 2 abstain.
Having received the necessary majority, item number 22 is adopted. That completes our agenda, resolution agenda. We have one additional item that the commission needs to consider this evening. And to make it as simple as we can, I'll just read this entire statement. It's not too long. It's the appointment of finance director and purchasing agent and approval of bonds. Whereas with the passage of State of Tennessee, private chapter number 46, creating the act to be known as the Sullivan County Financial Management System of 2020, the county legislative body for Sullivan County has the authority to appoint officials and to authorize and approve statutory bonds for elected and appointed officials serving Sullivan County. And whereas this act creates the position of finance director and purchasing agent to serve Sullivan County. Whereas Larry G. Bailey currently serves as the county budget director for Sullivan County, and whereas Christina Davis currently serves as purchasing agent for Sullivan County, and whereas it is the desire of the members of the Board of County Commissioners that these individuals continue to serve the county in similar capacities under the Sullivan County Financial Management Act of 2020. Now therefore be it ordered, adjudged, and decreed pursuant to the State of Tennessee private chapter number 46, creating the act to be known as the Sullivan County Financial Management System of 2020, Sullivan County Board of Commissioners hereby approves appointing Larry G. Bailey to the position of Finance Director and Christine Davis to the position of Purchasing Agent. And I make that recommendation to the County Commission to begin the first steps of the adoption of Public Chapter 46. So we would need a motion for adoption. Crawford, Aker, King, others, all those voting in the affirmative be shown as prime co-sponsors, with the first one, said Crawford, as the sponsor. Madam Clerk, would you take the vote on the motion?
Mr. Chair.
Dan?
Mr. Chairman, all county offices have to run notices in the paper unless the nomination comes from you. I don't have that private act in front of me. Does the private act give you the power to make the nomination?
No, it does not. It gives this county commission.
Well, then we'd have to run notice, and that's such an important position. I'd hate to leave that step out.
Okay. If Larry, you wrote the act, Larry. Would you speak to that?
Oh, well, if that's true, then we don't have to run notice, no.
Okay. And folks, we're going to meet again in a week, and we can fix it. So let's go ahead and go here. So thank you, Dan. Thank you for questions. It doesn't hurt for everybody to have an understanding. Madam Clerk, would you take the vote on the motion to adopt?
Aker?
Yes.
Blaylock? Broughton?
Yes.
Calton?
Yes.
Cole?
Yes.
Crawford? Ross?
Yes.
Crosswhite? Gardner? George? Glover?
Yes.
Hargrove?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Hutton?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
King?
Yes.
Leonard?
Yes.
Locke?
Yes.
Morrell?
Yes.
Stanley? Starnes? Stidham?
Yes.
Vance?
Yes.
Woods?
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? 24 yes.
Having received the necessary majority, motion is adopted. That completes our business for this evening. We'll do announcements. I know there was an envelope, a couple envelopes that were passed around this afternoon for flower fund and for contribution to a great cause. I hope you all saw it. And if you didn't see it, contact Angela, my secretary, Angela. And let me say, I'm going to do everything in my power make this room as safe for you as I can. And if you have suggestions about how we can do that, now I've looked at plexiglass between the commissioners, but I want to do everything I can to get us all back together. I appreciate you all attending from home, and certainly those of you with underlying health issues need to continue to meet from home. But I want to let you know we'll do everything. We need to get back together. This is a team, and we do our best work whenever we can see each other and talk to each other and flip them a bird if you want to. But anyway, thank you all for your patience tonight. This may be a record. We'll do it.
Social media tomorrow, David Akers is going to be blowing up the budget.
Yeah. Now we're getting silly. Anybody else? Gary? Gary first, and then you.
I get to make a great announcement tonight. Molly and I just found out we're expecting our first grandchild. We get to find out the gender in a couple hours here when they do the gender review. So in 35 years later today, I'll know in 35 years that the governor is going to be a male or a female. I'll let you know.
Help us with the census. It is important. Angie.
I would like to say thanks to Sheriff Cassidy and all of the hard work that they've been going through over at the jail and stuff right now. So if everybody could just remember them in our prayers and stuff for all the employees and the inmates and stuff over there.
Thanks, Sheriff. Todd.
And right quick, everybody, 12 to 2 tomorrow at Boozy Creek Primitive Baptist will be, we need to do that for Terry if we can. I'm sorry, Partner Chapel.
Thank you, Todd.
Off Boozy Creek. Terry, we love you, brother. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, Todd. And Terry will be there to support you. Colette. Joe. Motion to adjourn. No, thank you. We're adjourned.
This conference is no longer being recorded.
Huh?